legends last.
Hey, crimesters, welcome back once more to
Rogues Prime Galleria,
the True Crime Podcast. I'm your host, Todd H., coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Sunshine State. And tonight, we're going to talk about Vlad the Impaler. Bloody fellow that he was. Let's just say he might have you stick around a while. But before he does, please hit those like and subscribe buttons and that notification bell so you never miss a show. We're on every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so don't ever miss a show. But right now, let's get into it.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're listening, you want to get, really under the skin of Vlad the Impaler, past the usual stories.
Exactly.
We've pulled together quite a mix today. Historical stuff, bio details, and even how he connects to Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Right.
So, the mission. Get the key insights on this 15th century Wallachian prince Vlad Dracula. Vlad the Impaler without drowning in dates. A real shortcut to knowing what matters.
It's important because he's such a contradiction, isn't he? Known for, horrific cruelty, but also seen as a national hero in Romania. That's what we really want to unpack.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning then. His background, his early world, what was that like?
Well, he was born somewhere between 1428 and 1431, probably in Sighisoara, Transylvania.
Okay.
His father was Vlad II, known as Vlad Dracul. That means dragon.
Because of the Order of the Dragon?
Precisely. A Christian military order, basically set up to fight the Ottomans. So Vlad, his son, becomes Dracula, literally son of the dragon.
And his mother.
Less clear. Could be Princess Nizhna of Moldavia, maybe Vlad II's first wife. We know he had brothers, Mircea II and Radu the Handsome. So, even the name ties into this big struggle with the Ottomans.
And that struggle hit home really early for him, didn't it? I mean, his childhood wasn't exactly peaceful.
No, not at all. In 1442, he and his younger brother Radu were sent off as hostages to the Ottoman Empire.
Hostages? Why?
It was a standard practice for the Ottomans, a way to make sure rulers like Vlad's father, in places like Wallachia, stayed loyal.
Must have been a tough experience.
Hugely formative. He saw Ottoman life, their military, how they governed, and crucially, he likely saw impalement used as punishment. Some sources suggest this really fueled his hatred for the Ottomans. Interestingly, his brother Radu seemed to adapt much better. Even became quite close to the Sultan later on.
Wow, quite a difference. But Vlad wasn't just, locked in a cell, was he? He still got some kind of education.
That's right. Despite being a hostage, he got training fit for a noble, riding, fighting, court stuff. He would have learned about early firearms, too, which were becoming more important.
So the Ottomans kind of trained their future enemy.
In a way, yes. They prepared him for a military career, one he'd eventually turn against them.
And Wallachia itself, his homeland, was in a tricky position geographically and politically.
Very tricky. It was basically squeezed between the Kingdom of Hungary and the growing Ottoman Empire.
So constant pressure.
Constant. Rulers had to play this dangerous game, switching alliances to survive.
Okay.
Vlad's own father tried to balance Hungary and the Ottomans, and it ended badly for him and Vlad's older brother. They were killed.
A really unstable, dangerous world to grow up in.
Absolutely. Ruthless pragmatism was often the only way to survive.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. Vlad makes his first attempt to actually rule Wallachia. Didn't go smoothly, right?
No, not the first time. After his father and brother were murdered, he did briefly grab the throne in 1448.
With whose help?
Actually, with Ottoman support at that point. Given his time there, maybe not so surprising. But it was very short-lived. He got kicked out fast.
So then what? He needs allies.
He does. He fled, first to Moldavia, then Transylvania, and eventually he got backing from a really powerful Hungarian figure, John Hunyadi.
Hunyadi. Wait, wasn't he involved in...
Yeah, likely involved in the deaths of Vlad's father and brother. Seems contradictory, right?
Definitely. Politics makes strange bedfellows.
It certainly did then. For Vlad, it was purely strategic. He needed Hunyadi's muscle to have any chance of getting Wallachia back. Shows you how fluid alliances were.
Okay, so this leads to his second reign. This is where things really start to heat up, reputation-wise.
Yes, 1456. With Hungarian backing this time, Vlad attacks Wallachia again. He kills the guy ruling then, Vladislav II.
Avenging his father and brother.
Exactly. And that act really set the tone. He wasn't messing around.
And he immediately moved to tighten his grip on power, didn't he?
Yeah.
Especially targeting the nobles, the boyars.
right away, and brutally. He deeply suspected the boyars of being involved in his family's downfall, those betrayals and murders.
So a purge?
A major one. He had many executed, took their land and money, and gave it to people loyal to him. It wasn't just revenge, though. It was about breaking the old power structure and making sure he was firmly in control.
And beyond the boyars, he also clashed with others, like the Saxon merchants.
Yes, the Saxons in nearby Transylvania. They often backed his rivals, thinking they'd be better for trade. Plus, there were disputes over trade routes, taxes, that sort of thing.
So Vlad hit back hard.
Very hard. Raided their towns, impaled thousands. It was partly punishment, partly a warning. Don't mess with me or Wallachian interests. Caused trade issues, periods of conflict, then maybe brief peace, then more conflict. He clearly prioritized control over, say, smooth trade relations.
This really does set the stage for the period he's most infamous for, the war with the Ottomans and the extreme cruelty.
Yeah, this is where the story gets really dark. Around 1459, maybe 1461, Vlad just stopped paying the tribute to the Ottoman Sultan, Mehmed II.
Which was a big deal, not just symbolic.
Oh no, it often meant serious money, sometimes troops too. Refusing was a direct challenge to Ottoman authority, a very dangerous move. And to hammer the point home, he executed the Sultan's envoys when they came asking him to show up in Constantinople.
Executing envoys, that's crossing a major line.
A huge provocation. And Vlad didn't stop there. In 1462, he actually went on the offensive, raided Ottoman territory, killed thousands of Turks and Bulgarians.
Wow, so he struck first.
He did. But, predictably, it brought down the hammer. Sultan Mehmed II led a massive army himself to crush Vlad. Far bigger than anything Vlad could muster.
So facing that kind of force, Vlad couldn't fight conventionally. He had to resort to other tactics?
Exactly. Guerrilla warfare, essentially. Attrition. He used scorched earth tactics, burning crops, poisoning wells, anything to deny the Ottoman supplies.
Desperate measure.
He even apparently tried a kind of early biological warfare, sending people with diseases like the plague into the Ottoman camps to try and infect them.
That's grim.
It was total war for survival. And then there was the famous night attack.
Right, near Targoviite, his capital.
Yes. A surprise raid on the Ottoman camp. The main goal, assassinate the Sultan.
Did it work?
No. In the dark and chaos, they hit the vizier's tents instead, the top officials. But even though it failed to kill Mehmed, the sheer boldness of it caused panic and fear in the Ottoman army.
But the thing that really cemented his terrifying reputation came as the Ottomans got closer to the capital.
That's the one. As Mehmed's army approached Targoviite, they found, well, a forest. A forest of impaled bodies.
How many?
Estimates vary, but the commonly cited figure is around 20,000 impaled Turkish prisoners left there, dying or dead.
Just unimaginable.
Pure psychological warfare. The scale, the horror of it, it reportedly stunned the Sultan himself. He was apparently so appalled, he decided the land wasn't worth taking from someone capable of such acts, and he retreated.
Impalement. It's the method forever linked to his name. Can you describe how it was done? The sources are quite graphic, aren't they?
They are. It was deliberately gruesome to maximize terror and suffering. Usually a wooden or metal stake, often not sharpened to a fine point to prolong the agony, was inserted, typically through the anus, sometimes lubricated, then driven upwards through the body cavity by gravity or force. The aim was to avoid vital organs initially, so death could take hours, even days.
Days.
Yes. Sometimes it emerged through the mouth, chest, shoulder. There are variations too. Impaling through the stomach, other orifices. Horrifically, some accounts mention mothers impaled with their infants on the same stake. Sometimes victims were impaled upside down. It was designed for maximum suffering and fear.
And it wasn't just impalement, was it? There were other alleged atrocities.
Correct. The sources, especially the German ones that circulated widely thanks to the printing press, list other horrors. Skinning, boiling alive, burning, chopping off limbs, even forcing cannibalism, making people eat relatives or friends.
But you mentioned the German sources. There's a question about exaggeration.
Definitely. It's crucial to be critical here. Those German pamphlets were often sensationalized propaganda, serving political or economic aims against Vlad. While he was undoubtedly brutal, the sheer numbers, tens of thousands killed in these ways, are likely inflated. Other sources, like Romanian or Slavic ones or contemporary documents, sometimes give much lower figures or focus more on his role as a stern ruler rather than just a sadist. For example, one German text mentions 600 Saxon merchants impaled, but a local Wallachian document from the time talks about a much smaller number, so context and source bias are key.
It's hard to imagine any kind of functional society under such terror. But some stories suggest his methods did create order.
It's that paradox again. Yes, some accounts, like the famous story of the Golden Cup.
The one left in the town square that nobody dared steal.
That's the one. It's used to argue that the extreme fear he inspired created absolute law and order. Whether that's true order or just paralyzing terror is up for debate. You could also argue it was partly personal vengeance against the boyars who'd wronged his family, wrapped up in the language of justice.
Did this fear-based system work long-term? Or did it breed resentment?
That's a great question. While it might have imposed short-term stability, it likely fostered deep resentment among the nobility he targeted. This probably played a part in his eventual downfall.
So despite beating back the Ottomans, his rule didn't end well. He was eventually captured. How did that happen?
Right, even with those military successes, he got betrayed. Factions of the Wallachian boyars turned against him, and he was captured in 1462 by Matthias Corvinus, the king of Hungary.
The son of John Hunyadi, his former ally.
The very same. And Corvinus had his own reasons. He used Vlad's already terrible reputation, even circulated forged letters supposedly showing Vlad plotting with the Ottomans to justify locking him up. He needed to explain to the Pope why this supposed crusader wasn't fighting the Turks anymore.
So his own terrifying image was used against him. How long was he imprisoned?
A long time, from 1462 right up until 1475. Over a decade in Hungary.
And even in prison, the stories continued.
They did. There are these grim tales, probably embellished, of him amusing himself by torturing rats or birds in his cell, feeding his cruel impulses, supposedly.
But eventually he got out, and even ruled again.
Yes, surprisingly. Stephen III of Moldavia pushed for his release. Maybe he thought Vlad would be a useful anti-Ottoman ruler in Wallachia again. So in 1476, with Hungarian Moldavian support, Vlad gets back on the Wallachian throne for a third time.
Third time's the charm.
Not for Vlad. His final reign was incredibly short.
What happened? How did he die?
Basarab Lyota, the guy he'd kicked out, came back with Ottoman backup. Vlad was killed in battle, probably late 1476 or early 1477.
Do we know exactly how?
The accounts differ. Ambushed, maybe?
Sure.
Killed by his own men, mistaking him for a Turk in the confusion of battle? Some even think assassinated by nobles who still aided him. It's unclear.
And his body?
The Ottomans reportedly cut off his head and sent it to Sultan Mehmed in Istanbul as proof he was finally dead.
And where he's buried?
Another mystery. Legend points to Snagov Monastery, an island near Bucharest. But excavations there haven't found him definitively. Some historians think the Komana Monastery, which Vlad founded and was near his last battle, is maybe more likely, but we don't know for sure.
A violent life, a murky death, and an uncertain resting place. But his story certainly didn't end there, did it? His legacy is huge.
Absolutely huge and incredibly divided. In Romania, despite all the brutality we've discussed, he's often seen as a national hero for standing up to the Ottomans, defending Wallachia's independence, and trying to create a strong, centralized state, even if the methods were extreme. He's seen as a tough leader in tough times.
And then there's the other massive part of his legacy, Dracula.
Right. Bram Stoker, writing his novel in 1897, he clearly borrowed the name Dracula and tapped into Vlad's historical reputation for cruelty and the general fear surrounding him in that region.
But Stoker's Dracula is a vampire, not just a cruel ruler.
Exactly. Stoker layered on all the vampire folklore, the blood drinking, the supernatural powers. It's inspired by the historical Vlad, but it's a very different creation. The motivations we see in the historical sources for Vlad's actions, however brutal, are far removed from Stoker's purely evil, undead count.
It's amazing how history gets transformed into myth and fiction. And you mentioned the different views, Western Europe versus Romania.
That's a really key point. Western European accounts, heavily influenced by those German pamphlets we talked about, tend to paint him as this almost cartoonishly evil, sadistic monster.
Fueled by the printing press.
Right, spread those stories widely. But if you look at Romanian, or even some Slavic folklore and history, you get a more complex picture. Yes, he was cruel, but is often framed as necessary cruelty, the harsh justice needed to fight invaders and control unruly nobles. He's the defender, the strong hand.
So propaganda played a massive role from the very beginning.
Undeniably. Those German stories weren't just neutral reports, they served political and economic agendas. They shaped the image of Vlad as this bloodthirsty tyrant that persists in many places today. The Romanian view offers a significant counter-narrative. It shows how history is written and rewritten by different groups with different aims.
Do we even know what he looked like? Are there descriptions?
We actually have a pretty good one from Nicholas of Madrusa, a papal legate who met him.
Oh, wow. What did he say?
He said Vlad wasn't super tall, but stocky, strong, had a cruel and terrible appearance. A long, straight nose, wide nostrils, thin reddish face, and these large, wide-open green eyes under bushy black eyebrows give him a really intense look. Plus a mustache, prominent temples, thick neck, dark curly hair down to his shoulders.
Sounds formidable. Definitely fits the reputation.
It certainly paints a picture of an imposing figure.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
He's just incredibly complex.
That's the main takeaway. He's this whirlwind of contradictions, unspeakable cruelty that made him infamous and inspired Dracula, but also, viewed through the lens of his time and place, 15th century Wallachia, constantly under threat, he's seen as a national defender, a symbol of resistance, someone who tried to forge order through brutal means.
His story really throws the brutality of that era into sharp relief and how differently actions can be interpreted.
Absolutely, which leads to that final thought we always like to leave listeners with. Was Vlad simply a monster? A sadist driven by bloodlust, like the pamphlets and Stoker's fiction might suggest? Or was he a product of his incredibly violent times, using the only methods he thought would work to protect his people and consolidate power? Or, perhaps, is a reality far messier, a mix of personal vendettas, political necessity, genuine patriotism maybe, all twisted together and then further distorted by centuries of storytelling and propaganda?
Something to really chew on. There are no easy answers with a figure like Vlad.
None at all. Hopefully this dive into the sources gives a clearer picture of the man behind the myths and encourages everyone to keep digging.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you on the next exploration.
Well, I guess that was it for Vlad the Impaler. You know, history makes things a little bit different than, well, they actually are. And, sure, I mean, if not for Bram Stoker, how would we have all that entertainment that we've had today as a result? Anyway, I'm Todd H., back with you, and we appreciate that you listened to the whole show. And I want to thank my co-hosts, Eli Stone and Nora Steele, for doing the great job they always do. And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons along with the notification bell so you don't ever miss a show. And that's all we got tonight. So we'll see you next time on Rogues Prime Galleria.
Step inside. Don't look back. Every shadow's got a name. From the alleys where the cold steel sings to the suits with blood on diamond rings, ghosts of power, greed and flame, every legend leaves a stain. Whispers crawl through history's halls, mugshots hanging on haunted walls, outlaws riding, empires fall. You're one step from it all. Truth gets buried, lies get tall, but we're the ones who hear the call. Welcome to the Rogues Galleria, where the wicked live forever. Every crime, every killer's tale, locked in time we unveil. Yeah, the darkness tells ya you can't run from your past. In the Rogues Galleria, we make the legends last. We make the legends last. Ponzi kings with a silver grin, my boss deals in a world of sin. Six gun smoke in a desert sky, another outlaw lives a lie. Cold case files and a killer's code, buried truths on a broken road. Every story that chills your spine, we bring it back to life. No escape when the truth gets loud, faces staring from the crowd. Welcome to the Rogues Galleria, where the wicked live forever. Every crime, every killer's tale, locked in time we unveil. Yeah, the darkness tells ya you can't run from your past. In the Rogues Galleria, we make the legends last. We make the legends last. Every name carved in the night, every wrong dressed up is right. If you listen, you'll hear them breathe in the gallery. They never leave. Welcome to the Rogues Galleria. Step inside, don't you falter. Every sin, every twisted mind, we expose what you won't find.